हेलो बच्चों। तो कैसे हो आप लोग? क्यों देख रहे हो? तो अच्छे ही होंगे। दिस इज अभिनंदन ओवर हियर फ्रॉम माय फ्यूचर टेक फॉर डिजाइनिंग योर फ्यूचर। वेलकम यू बैक।
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Uh, so I think I had made it over here. Yeah. So I had written it over here. Now, the next data type we are going to see, that is nothing but n. That is nothing but numeric. Okay. That is called as a numeric data type. And here size is required. Okay. Size is required. And how we are going to write is this. Parameters, then any of the thing, I'll take n of size 5 and type n. So you can see that like if I am mentioning size as 5, then my default value will be 5 zeros. Okay, so default value will be 5 zeros. It is just going to take 0 only here in this. Now you can see that we have a data type called like I, that is integer, and also we have data type called n, that is numeric. Both are number itself, but you can clearly see the difference that whatever your number data type is there. Okay, here we are mentioning the size with this. Okay, so whenever we are mentioning the size, what size I require, like for simple example, I require bigger size than the fixed one, so that time I'll be using this one. So I'll just remove this and I'll make this as n. You can use anything over here. First we'll let's say 10, and we'll just try to execute this and see what will happen. I'll just put n, because we need to print n. Save this, and using Control S to save, then activate, just check this, activate this, and run this. So here I can enter the number. I'll enter 1 2 3 over here and I'll execute. So you can clearly see that I have mentioned size as 10. So 1 2 3 numbers has been done, and remaining 7s are zeros. Okay, but whereas I'll just show you what will happen if I take a data type called I, that is integer. If I take the integer and if I execute this one, and if I enter 1 2 3, okay, and I'll execute this, so you can see that I'm not getting loaded zeros over here. Instead of that, I'm getting blank spaces. Okay, so here what I'll try to do is I'll try to okay, so I hope you have got the difference between these two, that is integers and numerics. So numeric, we need to mention the size, where the required size can be entered, like it can be bigger, it can be smaller, it can be anything. So I have mentioned 10 over here. Anything you can mention. If you want only 4 digit ka number, you can use 4. Okay, so you can see here, I'll just enter 1 2 3 over here, execute this. Okay, I have not activated this. Specification allowed with I. Okay, we need to change this to n. Save it, check it, activate this, and run this. So you can see here. So I'll just enter 1 2. You can see execution, 2 zeros and 2 3. So like this, we will get the kind of a output with numerics, and we'll get kind of a type integer. So this is the difference between integers and this. One more thing I would like to tell you, I have already discussed this. Again, I'll tell you, whatever you are writing the program over here, this screen is called as ABAP editor screen, where we write the program. Then we have the selection screen. When I execute this, this is called as selection screen, where I'll be making my choices, or I'll just choose something, enter anything. So it is called as selection screen. And after that, when we execute this one, this is called as your output screen. So this has been divided into 3 screens. Your program has different 3 screens. This is execute output screen, this is selection screen, and this is editors. Okay, this is ABAP editor. So this I have already mentioned, but I'm just repeating it once again. Okay, so numeric is done, date is done. Now what we will see is we will see the time. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just change this. Okay, before to that, have I updated this? Yeah, parameter n, yes, done. We'll first execute the program and then we will come back. So here I'll write T. I don't require size to mention, so I'll write T over here, or else to differentiate I'll write TM, that is time, and type T. I'm going to print TM. Okay, now default value. What will be the default value? What will be the default value of time? Anyone? Default value of time? It will be 00.00.00. That is nothing but hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay, so see here. Automatically you can see this 00:00:00. I can enter time over here. I'll enter, let's say, just a moment. If I execute, I'm going to get the zero values over here. So if I want to enter the number, let's say 10 and 34 and anything 30. So if I execute this, I'm going to get this value over here. Now just check what happens when I exceed these things. If I make it 64, okay, that means 64 minutes. If I try to make a 64 minutes and try to execute this, you can see here specify time within the permitted value range. That means hours you can put 12, minutes you can put 59, and the seconds you can put 59. So like this, the particular values should be added. Okay, so this you need to understand and note it down. So your next data type what we have seen is T, that is time. So I'll write here, just a moment, I'll write here time and not required. Whatever the size is there, that is not required. And how we are writing parameters, I have used TM, size not required, type will be T. Okay, so this is another data type we have, and what will be the default value to this? That will be 0000 6 times. I'll just add over here 0 because it is going to only take 1 0. Okay, so next to this, after this we have another data type which is called as float. Now float, it is going to give me like floating points. If I say let's say NO, or okay, let's say number. Okay, here size is not required. I'll make this as F, data type as F, and I'm going to write num over. Save this, check this. What happened to this? Okay. We cannot write float with parameters. Okay, we have to write this with data that we will come back. I'll come back to this data type when we see about the datas. Now we'll first finish up with the parameters. Now, okay, let me explain you about the datas also. So next your keyword is there, and that is nothing but your data. So what data will do is, now parameters were allowing you to take the inputs from the screen. Okay, but what data will do is, when you want to just define the things, okay, that time we'll be using a data keyword. So what I'll do is, I'll just show you one program to add two numbers. So simple thing what we are going to do over here is, I'll just show you over here. We are going to take two numbers called A and B, and we are going to store the value in C. How I will be storing is, C is equals to A plus B. Okay, so this will be our simple logic which we are going to apply. So we require three variables. We require A variable, we require B variable, and we require C variable. So what we will do is, first we will store, or first we will take C, because value of C I am not going to take it from the user. So I can just write I over here, and then I can mention the parameters. I'll mention the parameters. What will be my parameters? I require two parameters. Parameter A of type integer and parameter B of type integer. So both the parameters we will take, and we will write C equal to A plus B. Okay, A plus B, and then we are just going to print it. So how we are going to print it? You can print it like anyhow you want. I'll first print C, and I'll show you afterwards how to modify the outputs. So data is keyword where it is not going to display it on my selection screen to enter the values. Okay, so parameters will allow me to enter the values. Data will just store whatever we are going to store it inside that. It is just going to store it directly. Now you can see that I'll just check this, activate this, and run this. So I'm getting the field to enter the value of A. I'm getting the field to enter the value of B. Let's say 4 and let's say 5, and just execute this. Okay, after executing, I'm getting the value, that is nothing but 9. Okay, now let's say let's edit this little bit. So I can say that the addition is equals to C. Okay, save this, check this, activate this, and run. So I'll enter value 2 and value 5, anything, execute. So I'll get it like this, addition equal to 7. I can use anything. I can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, anything. So this is the simple logic we have it to perform any of the like operations, arithmetical operations we have. Okay. Now one more thing I would like to tell you over here is, if I want to comment, anyone knows what is commenting in programming? What do you mean by comments in program? Yes?
Yeah, adding instructions.
Adding instructions, yes, good. And anyone else? It is also called as a documentation section. Doc string we call it as, or we call it in simple doc, or it is also called as documentation part. Why the documentation is required is because when I am studying or whatever we are learning, if we go on documenting it, or if we don't document it, it is not possible for a human to remember it for a longer period of a time. And because of that, we write down the notes and we make a document of it so that we can prefer it in the future. So to do a documentation here, I can use a single star. Okay, I can use a single star to make it as a documentation part. So I can write it over here. This is a simple addition program. Okay, so I can write it like this over here, and you have to remember that whatever your comments are there, it is a part of your program, but they are never executed. Those, like, whenever the compiler will come over here at this line, it will just skip this, understanding that this is the command over here, sorry, this is a comment over here. So command line prompt will go directly here. Next, compiler will go to the next part. So it is not going to execute this line. So it is just a part of a program but never executed. This you need to understand. This will be helpful in many different ways. If I don't want some part of the program to be executed, I can comment it and I can suppress the code. Like that also I can use. So there are many different ways. One more shortcut I will like to tell you. Whichever the line you want to comment, you can keep the cursor on that line, press Control and less than symbol. Less than symbol will convert that into comment line, and if you put greater than symbol, sorry, I think I have told you reversely. I'll just print it over here. This symbol is used for commenting, and this symbol is used for uncommenting. So I can see it over here. Lesser than symbol is used for commenting the line, or else if I want to do a multiple line comment, I can select multiple lines and I can click this less than symbol. Automatically it will be commented. If I want to remove the comments, then I can use greater than symbol. So I'll just select all the lines and I'll just click greater than symbol. It will be uncommented. So like this you can use comment and uncomment part. Up to this is clear. Everyone is clear to this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Others? Okay. So we were looking about float, isn't it? So why it did not take is whenever I am mentioning the parameters, with parameters I cannot use a floating point, because whenever the parameter is there, the parameter is going to take a fractional value, and here in a SAP it is not allowed to take the fractional values. So for that, what I'll do is I'll just show you over here how to take this. So I'll just use the data part. Okay, so what I'll do is let it be a C. I'll pick it as float, and I'll just print C. You'll get the default value which can be stored. Okay, so I'll just execute this one. Check this, activate this, and execute. So you can get a default value of float, that is 00000, that we have 0.0000. E we have. E is nothing but like epsilon. बहुत बड़ा जब number रहता है, in a calci also we get like this, no? At the end we get E. E is nothing but too bigger number epsilon we have. That time we'll get this value over here. So I can use this in a different ways also to calculate the like values. So if I have C over here, let's say C is storing 11 by or 111 by 22. So that time here it will be useful to store the fractional values. So whatever the value I'm going to get, that will be in a fraction. So that I can print it over here. I'll just check this, activate this and run this. So you can see it over here. So here we can get values like this. So up to like 45, 5.045454545 end tak will get the values. Okay, so this is the next data type we have, and that is nothing but float. So we have seen another data type called float. The type is float and keyword is F. Size, we don't require the size. And how we are going to write, I'll just copy paste it over here. and we have written it, we have taken C item, C, type, F, but we are going to use data instead of parameters. So remember that float cannot be used with parameters. So 0.000, I'll just write E over here. Okay, so you just understand that key, it is going to take that much of values. With this, we have another data type called as packet decimals. So what is the difference between float and packet decimals? Packet decimals is also going to take the floating point itself, but the packet decimals maximum size is 16. Okay, so size actually it is not required over here. Size, even if you don't mention it, like we mention a size over here, no? We mention some size over here. Let's mention it with float and see what happens. Okay, so save this. You just do the experiments like this, huh? So don't believe whatever I'm saying it blankly. You just try to explore yourself. What will happen if I write the size? You can see here. If I write the size, F can only have the length specification, that is 8. Okay, or no length. So that means I can mention only 8 or I cannot mention anything. So I'll just check this now. See it. Length specification not allowed now. So like this, you can explore the things. Okay, now what we will do is I'll just keep that as C only, and type I'll make it as P decimal. Okay, so it is P decimal. But see here, the difference, what exactly the difference is. I'll just remove this 8, it is not required over here. I'll mention 3. I'll save this. I'll keep everything else as it is, and I'll just check this. Okay, spelling mistake. Decimals. It is decimals, not decimal. It is decimals. Save it, check it, activate this, and run. What does your observation says between the, what is the difference between float and what is the difference between packet decimals? Yes,
He is not coming.
okay, and
Sir, it will allow limited number of numbers after
exactly. Absolute, that is F was taking all, whatever the calculation में जितने numbers fit होते हैं उतने सभी numbers ले रहा था F. But if you see over here packet decimal, with the packet decimal I am mentioning how many fields I want. After the point I wanted, after point I wanted 3 points, so I took 3. If I say 2, okay, if I say 2, and now just see what will happen. Save, check, activate, and run. I'm getting 2. Like this, we can control the number of decimal points in an output. Clear with this one? Yes, everyone is clear with this?
yes, sir.
Sir, repeat once again.
Okay, just see here. If I say I'll go back and I'll make this again as F only. I'll just comment this part. Okay, let me copy this line, come down, paste it over here, and let's make me this as F. That is float. Okay, and I'll execute this. Save this, check this, activate this, and run this. You can see after the dot, after 5 point, जितने values आ सकते हैं सभी values ले लिया उसने, which is in float. Okay, which is in float. But if I want to control my output, so if I want to control my output and I don't want more data to be printed over there. Like I don't want more data. I want only 4 decimal points. After 5 point, I only want 4 numbers, not all. Okay, so I'll do this, see this, check this, activate this, and run. So you can see after 5 point, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 values I have got. So like this I can control rather than getting everything. जितना चाहिए उतना ही मैं ले लूंगा after the points, and that is the use of your packet decimals. Clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any doubts? Anyone has any doubts over here? So we'll add that P decimals.
Sir, can we define the pi value, sir, using floating point?
Can we define
Value of pi, sir.
value of pi? 3.142. Yes. डिफाइन करने के लिए कुछ भी डिफाइन कर सकते हो, ऐसा नहीं है, बट यहाँ पे वो कांस्टेंट नहीं लेगा. इफ आई से पाई देन इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू टेक दैट. सो इफ आई लाइक व्हाट इज द डिवीजन, वी डोंट नो. नो, पाई का डिवीजन क्या है? यस, व्हाट इज द डिवीजन ऑफ पाई? कुछ पता है? लाइक एनी नंबर डिवाइडेड
7, I guess.
यस,
Maybe 22 by 7.
22 by 7 I think. Yeah. 22 by 7. So here if I say 22 by 7, then if I run this, if this check this, activate this and run this, I'll get 3.142. If I mention if I just take this as float instead of this, save this, check this, activate this and run, I can get this value, entire value. Okay, clear with this? Constant pi it is not going to take. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. We'll touch a little bit of next part, and that is nothing but your looping. Okay, so just a moment. Next part is your looping. I'll just take this one. Okay, now no, don't want this. I mean that we'll take 2 loop 1 2 and just check. Okay, fine with this one. So what we are going to do here is we'll first explain you what is looping. Now looping in the sense whatever the previous example we have seen of addition or doing anything over there, it was executing once, only once. Okay, it is not going to execute the number of times I want. Okay, when I want my output or when I want my program to execute some amount of time, that is कितने टाइम के लिए मुझे एग्जीक्यूट होना है, like once, twice, thrice, or number of times I require, it can be only done using the loops. So looping is nothing but it is a repetitive statement. So every time when I execute, the number of times I am going to enter, that many times it is going to execute the loop. So you can clearly see that I have mentioned one data called as C. C is nothing but count over here. First my count will be starting at 1. So 1, 2, 3 up to what amount, that we will check. So what I'm going to do is simple. I have mentioned data called C of type integer, parameter number, that is num, of type integer. Okay, so what will happen if I say parameters? If I say parameters num type I, what will happen into selection screen? Selection screen पे क्या दिखाई देगा? Yes. Anyone? What will happen onto the selection screen if I write parameters? Just now we have seen. No one? So just now we have seen that when I write data, it is just used for storing some values. It is not going to show up on a selection screen. When I write parameters, it is going to show me on a selection screen, and it is telling, or it will allow the user to enter the values. Okay, so this you need to understand. I'll repeat this once again. When I say data, data is just used to store some values, okay, internally in a program itself. But parameters, it is going to take the values from user, okay, who is executing this program. From them it is going to take the inputs. Okay, so I have mentioned a num over here. My count is starting from 1. Now just see, the first loop we are going to see, that is nothing but do loop. Okay, so how to write this is do, okay, how many times? Num times. Num times means what? Whatever the number I am going to enter, that many times I am going to execute this do loop. And what I am going to write on a screen, I am going to write C every time on the next line. Okay, so what is the value of C now? First 1. So I'll type 1. I am doing C is equals to C plus 1. That means whatever the 1 value is there, it will be incrementing all the time. What I'll do is, I'll just execute this and I'll show you. But remember the syntax first. Do, whatever the number of times you want to execute, that many numbers and times you will write. And whatever the code you want to do inside this, कुछ भी कर सकते हो that you want to do, you can do it inside this. Okay, so I'm just what I'm doing is I'm just printing the value of C over here. Okay, कितना काउंट है वो सिर्फ प्रिंट करूंगा मैं अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए. And always whatever the loop you have started, that you have to end. So I have done end do with dot. Here also do I have started, ended with dot, write, ended with dot, and whatever the statement is there, ended with dot. Every statement will end with dot. As the C program was ending with semicolon, this will end with dot. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just save this, check this, activate this, and run. Now, how many times I want to execute the loop? Let's say 10. Okay, I'll set 10. So 10 times it will write the count. Okay, just see here. I'll execute this. You can see first the value of C was 1. It got printed. Then I have written C is equals to C plus 1. That means value of C got incremented by 1. So value of C is 2. Now again it will come inside the loop. 2 will be printed. Now next C is equals to C plus 1 again. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 will be printed. 3 plus 1 4. 4 will be printed. 5, 6, 7, 8 up to how many times? Times 10 times. You can see here I have mentioned num times. Num times means I am going to enter the number, that many times my loop will be executed. Okay, I'll just go back. Okay, sorry about this. I'll just execute this and I'll say 6. So it is going to execute 6 times. Understood this? Everyone is clear with this one? Okay, what I'll do is I'll change this little bit and I'll make this as 2. Okay, and I'll mention the same thing. I'll mention it as 10 only, the number of times 10. I'll execute this. You can see here 1 because first value is 1, then it incremented by 2, then it incremented by 2, then 2, 2, 2, 2. Every time 2 values I am incremented. So first value of C is 1, so it is printing 1, then every time it is incrementing by 2. What if I want to write even numbers? What if I want to print 2, 4, 6, 8? What changes I need to make? Yes, what changes I need to make in this program? I want to print 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 like this.
2 plus 2.
2 plus 2. That means simply the value of C should be 2. So save this, check this, activate this and run. I'll enter 10 and I'll execute. See here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Why it got printed till 20? Why it got printed till 20?
To 10 number 10.
Yeah, because I am executing it for 10 times. If I want only up to this, then how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll enter my number of times as 5 over here. I'll just say 5. Execute this. You can see here. So only 5 times it will be executing. Last time we had entered 10, so it got executed 10 times. So like this, your looping will happen. Clear with this one? Yes, everyone is clear with this?